Automatic doors creak open. The air is stale. Not from age, but from abandonment. You step inside, flashlight sweeping across broken glass and mannequin limbs. Slow, relentless walkers, just like the ones from The Walking Dead, could be lurking behind any corner. This used to be the town's hub. Now it's a concrete graveyard. If this sounds like Dawn of the Dead, it should. And for the hardcore survivors, think Zombieland rules in real life, where the food court might be the least of your worries. Because this mall might just become your final chapter. You and 5 others are holed up inside hoping to outlast a world that's already gone. For this scenario, we're dealing with the classic slow-moving walkers. Think The Walking Dead, no rage zombies, no Usain Bolt sprinters. These are the dead brought back to hunt the living. They're slow, but they never give up. And one bite, that's game over, buddy. So the mall we're talking about is a typical 2-story American shopping mall. Roughly 800,000 to over 1 million square feet of concrete and glass. Skylights stretch overhead, flooding the atrium with light during the day. Multiple entrances, automatic glass doors, loading bays, emergency exits. Inside, dozens of stores, food courts, security offices, storage bathrooms, and escalators that now lead to nowhere. You're not alone though. You with 5 others. A 5-person group with mixed skills. 1 former EMT, a high school science teacher, a mechanic, a prepper who's been waiting for this moment, and you, the strategist. You're all armed with melee weapons and a few handguns, short on ammo, but not instinct. The core survival elements, pretty much the basics you need to survive, are food, water, and shelter/defense. When you think of food, you think of abandoned restaurants, vending machines, maybe a looted grocery store. For water, you think of bottled water, soda fountains, and any plumbing still running. And for shelter and defense, you think of steel gates, internal rooms, and upper levels for choke points. The question isn't what the mall offers, it's how long you can keep it yours. But is it worth the fight? The pros of being in the mall is the abundance of supplies. You're surrounded by stores, everything from first aid kits and pharmacies to batteries and electronic shops. Even a basic sporting goods store can be a mini armory. Think baseball bats, crossbows, and camping gear. And don't forget the gun store, good old America. I know you're probably missing Call of Duty right now, but you're not gonna get any respawn, so maybe we should just focus on survival. Food is a big deal here if it hasn't been looted. You may have think you hit the food court jackpot. Freezers full of meat, packaged snacks, canned goods, bottled drinks, and more. If the power's still running via solar or generator, you just scored a jackpot. Even if not, non-perishables could last your group for weeks. Multiple defensive zones. You could lock down sections using security gates, create fallback zones, and trap zombies between floors. Elevators and escalators can be disabled, giving you control of vertical movement. Well, that if the power is still running. High visibility. From the 2nd floor balconies, you can see the atrium and lower levels. Surveillance cameras still functioning? That's a bonus. Let's talk plumbing for a second. Some malls have backup water tanks or rooftop access. Not ideal, but enough for hygiene and ration drinking. And speaking of plumbing, you can use your waste as, fertilizer. Who knew a stomach ache could save you one day? The rooftop also gives you potential for farming. Flat rooftop space makes it ideal for small-scale farming. You could grow vegetables, herbs, or even set up rain catchers. Picture this, rows of tomatoes growing beside old HVAC units, carrots and parking lot planters. In a long-term survival scenario, food independence is gold. It's your own personal grocery store up there, just 1 floor up. Be safe in the stairwells though. Make sure you cleared everything. You also get a psychological boost. Being surrounded by remnants of normal life, clothes, furniture, music, it helps people hold on to their humanity in a world where it lacks the most. Speaking of normal life, the mall is a place where you can build a community. It's built to handle large crowds, not just physically, but socially. With wide open plazas, food courts, and storefronts, it naturally creates a centralized hub for interaction and planning. Survivors can assign roles, some guard entrances, others scavenge, some tend to the wounded, almost like a mini society, so morale stays higher when people feel a purpose. A mall can let that happen. Last but not least, recreation and mental health. Getting your mind off the zombies and the dead smells. Playing card games and Monopoly with others kinda helps a little bit, but maybe you should be a little more focused. It's only your survival at stake. I know that list sounds wonderful, but where there's pros, there's cons. I already know the one that everyone is thinking. too many entrances. Every exterior wall is a potential breach point. Glass doors, loading docks, emergency exits, all vulnerable. Also, noise amplification is a big deal. Gunfire echoes really fast. One shot and every undead in a mile radius knows where you are. Even other survivors can hear, and that's really your worst enemy. Malls are likely in a highly populated area with a lot of traffic coming through. So there's a big chance that someone has probably already made the mall their home. So unpredictable inhabitants is definitely a con. Looters, rival survivors, trapped zombies in fitting rooms. You won't be the first person to think this place is a gold mine, or the last. The mall also has a big problem with power dependency. Without electricity, freezers thaw, air circulation dies, and night vision becomes impossible. Backup generators only last so long. There's also too many wide open spaces. Malls are designed for crowds, not cover. Too much open floor can mean ambush zones, so be careful and watch your back. And last but not least, there's probably already hundreds of zombies inside. Is it worth going through all your resources and ammo to secure a place that you can't truly secure because it's so big? At least not with the small amount of survivors that you're with. The collapse scenario. Someone's scream rips through the ventilation ducts. A breach at the east loading dock. Dozens of infected pour in, following a scent of stored food and human sweat. You rush to close security gates, but it's too late. They're inside. The second floor becomes your stronghold. You lose the EMT, bitten while trying to grab meds. Fitting. The prepper ignites a homemade explosive near the escalator, halting the swarm, but triggering a fire in the food court. Now smoke is spreading. Your vision is compromised. You got two options. Run through the maintenance corridors to the roof and pray for daylight, or hold the line in the electronics store using flat screens as makeshift shields. Either way, your mall fortress just became your tomb, unless you adapt. So for my final analysis, a mall offers one of the most resource-rich, versatile survival locations in the apocalypse, but it's a double-edged sword. Abundance attracts attention. Attention brings death. And if that's what you're looking for, a mall raises your chances of that happening significantly. You have food, water, and space, but also constant risk, noise, and too many access points. With the right team and strategy, you could last here for a while. But a mall isn't a bunker, it's a spotlight. For my final verdict, I would give survival rating here, short term, a 2, and long term, 1. It's just too much to defend, and too many things that can go wrong, and too many things out of your control. With smart fortification, a tight-knit group, and luck on your side, a mall can be heaven. But more often than not, it turns into a feeding ground, and you're the main course. If you found yourself in a zombie apocalypse, would you take the mall or run for the hills? Drop your rating below, and don't forget to subscribe for more survival breakdowns every week. This is the archive, so stay alive until my next video. Thank you guys for viewing.